I bought a Dell Optiplex gaming PC and optimized it using only the most popular TikTok optimizations. Okay, so inside of this box is a $250 gaming Dell Optiplex. And since this is a Dell Optiplex, the performance from this PC is definitely not the best. And there are like a ton of FPS stutters. But yeah, since this thing is a gaming Dell Optiplex, basically inside of this PC, it does have a graphics card, even though this thing is like a Dell Optiplex office PC. So it should make this pretty easy to actually optimize, which is basically what I'm gonna be trying to do for this $250 gaming PC. And currently this Dell Optiplex runs at about 80 to 100 FPS. And I'm pretty sure this thing sometimes even push close to like 200 FPS. But since this thing is a Dell Optiplex, the CPU inside of this PC is just super bad. And I'm pretty sure it's like completely bottlenecking like the GPU. So this PC definitely does get like a ton of FPS stutters. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try to optimize this PC, but I'm gonna be only using TikTok optimization. So this might honestly go super well, or it might just completely be really bad. We're gonna have to see what type of popular TikTok optimizations could help this Dell Optiplex gaming PC. And just showing you guys the specs of this gaming PC. And basically the CPU inside of this Dell Optiplex gaming PC, it is an Intel Core i7. I've completely forgot which one it was, but I'm pretty sure it is an i7. And then paired with that, we have a GTX 1660 Super. This graphics card is actually pretty good. I tested this thing out and it still ran pretty well. It's just this PC gets a ton of FPS drops, but I'm pretty sure this Dell Optiplex could push even more FPS. I've seen the max FPS on this Dell Optiplex and it reaches close to 200 FPS. And literally the only problem is the frame drops. It's just completely bad. And on average, I'm pretty sure this Dell Optiplex gaming PC runs at about like 70 FPS pretty consistently. So let's go ahead and see if we can optimize this thing using literally only the most popular TikTok optimizations. Okay, so before doing any optimizations on this Dell Optiplex, if you guys take a look at the max FPS this thing could get, it's definitely pretty solid. We're running about like 165 to 180 FPS. But just to show you guys what I mean by the FPS stutters that this Dell Optiplex actually has, and once I start building, we are dropping down to about like 80 and 70 FPS. Yeah, right now we're running at about like 70 FPS in creative. This is on all low settings, so we're not really having optimized settings right now for Fortnite. But yeah, on average, we're running about like 85 FPS in creative. But you guys saw the max FPS. This thing could push like 160 FPS pretty consistently if you literally just do nothing at all. And as you guys can see, I'm literally doing nothing and the frames are definitely a lot better at about like 140, 120-ish FPS. Okay, so I literally have the most popular TikTok FPS boost optimizations right now on my phone. Let's go ahead and check out the first one.
Key and type graphics settings.
Graphics settings.
Accelerated GPU.
Okay, so it's hardware accelerated GPU scheduling. And if you guys didn't know what it does, it basically just reduces the latency on your Windows PC. And overall, it just boosts your FPS and improve your performance on your PC. So this definitely should help restart your PC.
This will give you much better
bro, this guy got 13,000 FPS just from turning that on.
Run way smoother.
We gotta try that out. We gotta try that out. Okay, so he just basically said to turn on hardware accelerated GPU scheduling. So let's go ahead and just turn that on. It is under your graphics settings. And basically what it does is reduce the latency and improve performance. Pretty self-explanatory. So let's go ahead and just turn this on. All right, moving on to the next one. Low FPS, try this. Control, Shift, Windows, and B. What does this do? Oh, the screen just starts flickering. What does that do though? His screen literally starts flickering and he got like 300 FPS right after. I don't know what it does, but we gotta try that out. Okay, so we're gonna be trying out Control Shift Windows B like the TikTok did. And I'm pretty sure all it does is just like reset your graphics, something like that. Control Shift Windows. I gotta do it with one hand, but B. What the heck? Bro, this thing just started. Okay, it's flickering, just like the TikTok. What the heck? Bro, the screen just went black. There's no display now. Okay, we gotta figure out what just happened, but I'm pretty sure the graphics literally just reset. So we just gotta reopen Fortnite now. And I'm not even joking, bro. Fortnite just reopened. I literally didn't even need to open up Fortnite. It literally just popped back up by itself. But previously, literally just on idle for Fortnite, it was running about like 120. And right now it's running like 150. Even though it's still not that consistent, we're getting like more max FPS, literally just from pressing those few keys. That is actually crazy. I did not know that was actually gonna help a little bit. It didn't help tremendously, completely, but it definitely give us like a little bit more FPS, which is really, really good.
What's the best app for an FPS boost? So in this video, I'll show
Oh, so we're just using an application that gives us FPS. 200 more FPS just from using this app. What's the app called?
This will boost it for any game and boost the performance of your
Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. I want to know what the app is, bro. Google, search up Hellios Optimizer. I've never heard of that. Is that just like the regular optimization app? Oh, it is just the optimizer app. I've actually used this in the past. Okay, so it looks like he's literally just using 3 tweaks inside of the optimizer application. He's using optimize performance, optimizer network, and I think it is disabling sticky keys. So just 3 things he uses.
So don't enable anything else.
He says don't enable anything else. That's the only thing we need. 3 tweaks from this optimizer.
For me, I got
Before
200 more FPS.
200 more FPS, literally just from 3 settings? No way. No way.
If you
blow
want
up
the link to this app, the link
my PC's going blow. Wait. I gotta hear this back. What does it say? Don't touch anything. Just in case it blows up my PC.
If you want the link to this app,
I don't know what the last part is, but he says your PC might blow up if you touch any other settings. Okay, we're just gonna go with the 3 settings. I don't want my PC to blow up. Okay, so basically we just need to download an application called Hellios Optimizer. It should be over here under Optimizer EXE. So let's go ahead and just download that. Pretty sure I used this optimizer application in the past, like a pretty long time ago. So I completely forgot how to actually use it and what tweaks it actually has inside of this application. But here is the optimizer application, and it's super weird because the TikTok literally told me to only use 2 optimizer tweaks. You know, it was basically this one right here, optimize performance. The second one was optimizer network, and then the third one was just disabling sticky keys. I'm not sure why to only use 3, but literally at the end of the TikTok, he said if you guys use anything else, your PC will literally blow up. I don't even know what that means. I hope my PC doesn't blow up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use the 3 like they did in the TikTok. But if you guys take a look at the optimizer, there are like a bunch of other tweaks you guys could do. You guys can clean up your windows, disable some startup apps. Yeah, so basically a ton of stuff to do in optimizer. There are like a bunch of other tweaks we have not used, but we're gonna go ahead and play it safe. I don't want my PC to blow up, so let's just use 3. All right, next. Low-end PC, this guy's getting 260 FPS, and he's getting 0 ping. What did he do, bro? Oh, so he just optimized like the Fortnite settings. He's using windowed full screen, unlimited FPS, but he's using 1680 by 1050. That's a super low resolution. His game's gonna be like super stretched, but obviously he's getting a performance boost. And then he's using Tritanope 7 at 70% 3D resolution. So not only is he running on a super like low resolution that's super stretched, but he's also using a 70% 3D resolution. So the game literally just looks like absolute pixels. I guess we can go ahead and just try that out. Okay, so the guy in the TikTok used a much lower resolution. I think he was using like 1680 by 1050. I'm just gonna assume that he wants us to use the lowest resolution that you can on Fortnite. And in this case, we can go ahead and just run it at 1280 by 720. And then also in Tritanope, he uses Tritanope 7, 3D resolution at 70%. That is actually like really low, but let's go ahead and see if this helps anything. Okay, so right now we're running at about 720p at 70% 3D resolution. This thing looks so bad. All right, what's the next one?
Boost for your slow potato PC.
800. Potato PC, that's us. That is us. Potato PC. 400 FPS and less delay. What do we gotta do? Task manager, startup apps. Okay, so we just gotta disable like unnecessary startup apps. Slow down to the PC, yup. What do we gotta do in there? Task manager again, details. Look for Fortnite. Okay, so we're just setting like the CPU priority of Fortnite to high. He goes into power plan. Okay, so he just goes with the high performance power plan like I always use. Perfect. Go into game bar. Okay, disabling game bar. Okay, pretty easy actually. It's just a few window settings and we just gotta go in like task manager, I guess. Okay, so for some reason, literally the other optimizations and tweaks in the TikTok I couldn't do. For task manager, there wasn't CPU priority for some reason. And then I also set the power plan on highest already previously for the other TikTok. So we can go ahead and just stick with game bar and game mode. He tells us to actually turn this thing off, which we already have off. Since this thing also decreases your performance, since it records game clips and all that stuff, you really don't don't need it at all. I already have it off now. And for game mode, you guys want to turn this on. Basically, window optimizes your PC whenever you're gaming if you have game mode on. So this is perfect. 10 ping and 400 FPS. Yo, put me on. What we gotta do? What we gotta do, boys? Okay, so he's just literally running through a bunch of Fortnite settings and then Nvidia control panel. He literally just sets it all to performance. Literally nothing else is optimized but the performance. I actually used to use that. I literally just drag the slider all the way down to performance, not using any optimized 3D image settings, literally just putting it on performance in Nvidia control panel. And it actually helps. It gives us like a few FPS boosts. I wouldn't say too much. What else we gotta do? Power plan. Does he also use high performance like the other guy? Okay, yeah, just high performance power plan. Bro, this guy literally just wants us to use a ton of low resolutions, bro. With the lowest one literally being 640 by 480, bro. That is super, super stretched. The game's literally gonna look like Roblox or Minecraft from there, but you are gonna get a performance boost, so I don't know if I should try it out. Maybe I will afterwards, but he's literally giving us like a list of optimizations for your stretch resolution that basically boosts your FPS. Okay, so now we just gotta go into Nvidia control panel, and then over here in adjust image settings, we're just going to go ahead and click on use my preference emphasizing, and basically the bar should just be set on fully performance. The game definitely should look like lower quality, that's for sure, but since we're just going to go ahead and prioritize performance, we're going to get the best performance while also having like really weird graphics. So the quality is definitely going to be lower, but we should be good to go. Click apply from there. PC tips that actually helps. Yep, that's us, bro. Choppy and laggy. Control. Oh, so it's just like the first guy, but oh, so it resets your drivers. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, pretty easy. So just do that, and your game will feel smooth.
Bro's PC is better than my 320-pound.
What else we got?
So it seems like a lot of you are struggling to get FPS.
30 FPS.
Even people with better specs than me. Here's how to fix it. Watch this.
What we gotta do? Low end PC, that's us. Part control. Okay, so we're just like tweaking up with like the CPU cores. We're kind of just freeing up like the CPU cores. Bit some highest performance instead of high performance.
This can help a lot as Fortnite is a CPU.
Okay, yeah, Fortnite is a CPU based game, so this should definitely help. Even though the CPU for the Dell Optiplex isn't like the best, this definitely should at least help a little bit. And then we're going into MSI Afterburner.
Download and complete the installation.
Okay, download Afterburner.
Now open it up and before changing anything. Look up
before changing anything. Okay, so he just wants us to look up like the best like optimization settings with Afterburner for your GPU. And since we have the 1660 Super, I need to search up like the Afterburner settings for it, so it should be pretty easy. And then from there, just overclocks your CPU and GPU. Pretty easy. Warning, do not use this on any, yeah, don't use it on a laptop, bro.
Hop on Fortnite and see the FPS.
Your laptop's literally gonna be fried if you use it, but FPS difference. This guy's getting 160 FPS more. Let's go. We gotta try this out. All right, now we have to download Part Control, which is basically an application to help tweak up like your CPU cores. It should be this one right here in the bitsum.com. And there's also Process Lasso. So just like the other TikTok I showed before where he used Process Lasso, you guys could also download Process Lasso, but we're just gonna go ahead and download Part Control from here. And yeah, basically he just wants us to copy his settings, and he basically just has 100% on for all of these. So for both plugged in and on battery. And he basically changed this one right here to on, set it back to 100%. And then over here under CPU settings, he basically sets it to Bitsum highest performance. But if you guys take a look at all my power plans, there's no Bitsum highest performance. So we're just going to go ahead and stick with high performance. Click on save changes. Yeah, I don't really think there's a difference between like Bitsum and high performance. All of it still frees up your cores, so you should be good to go. And then now basically for MSI Afterburner, he literally just told us to search up the best Afterburner settings for your graphics card. And since I do have the GTX 1660 Super, it should just be in like Reddit or something. Right over here, GTX 1660 Super overclock. And there we go. We just have the settings I need for MSI Afterburner. So it's plus 500 megahertz for memory and then plus 120 megahertz for core speed. So pretty easy to use. Okay, so now that we optimized this Dell Optiplex using the most popular TikTok optimizations, we actually got a decent amount of FPS increase. Right now we're getting about like 250, 260 FPS. Although it's still like pretty inconsistent, it drops down to 200 pretty easily. quality. We're actually not going below the 150 FPS like we used to. I think we got about like 50 more FPS, and the FPS is definitely a lot more consistent, that's for sure. And as I'm building right now, we're still getting about like 160 FPS. I'm pretty sure previously this PC was getting about like only 90 to 100 FPS as I build. But yeah, right now the max FPS definitely increased a significant amount. But even though I am running on some really low graphic settings, which is a main reason why we got so much more FPS, I mean, at least the game is so much more playable. Even though like the graphics and quality is super bad, it definitely feels a lot more optimized, that's for sure. Like the game is running really smooth. I don't even think we got a frame drop just now. Literally no frame drops. I think the lowest we dropped to was only like 130, 120. Yeah, for the most part, I think this PC runs a pretty consistent like 144 FPS pretty easily in creative now. For the most part, in creative, this thing's actually really solid. And now taking a look at the FPS we get in an actual game, it's definitely still pretty good. We're getting about like 120, 140, sometimes even like 160 FPS. And the only thing I've noticed is that after optimizing this thing with MSI Afterburner and overclocking the GPU, the fan speed definitely is pretty like fast and loud now. And that's like the only thing that I can notice. There's a guy coming. Are you, bro? Oh my, bro. And I could free build on his PC too now. That's the crazy thing, bro. I could literally free build on. Okay, bro. GG's. Are you serious? Let's go, bro. GG's.